I don't have us mute because I think we're just going to start now. Good evening. We are pleased to have you join us for our very first Virtual Parent Academy. My name is Felicia Highland, and I'm the coordinator for equity and engagement for WJCC Schools. Even though it is virtual, we are always happy to share resources and information with families. Speaking of families, the Parent Academy name has changed to Family Academy. We recognize families extend well beyond parents and believe this name change truly represents our program. This evening, you will have an opportunity to tour the new Canvas learning management platform that our secondary students will use this school year. With over 1,800 participants, we are streaming this through YouTube. Now I will turn it over to our presenter, Kristen Barr, who is the coordinator of instructional technology. She will walk you through the Canvas system and highlight some features to help you support your learners. Kristen?
Thank you, Dr. Highland, and thank you to our families who are joining us tonight. Teachers have spent many hours over the summer preparing for this most unusual start to the school year, and I'm excited to share with you the Canvas learning management system. Our goals for today's session include learning what the Canvas learning management system is, learning how to create a Canvas parent or guardian account, and taking a tour of a parent or guardian account to become familiar with Canvas's features. Students will all have accounts, as we've mentioned, and parents will have the opportunity to observe their students' courses. So what is a learning management system? A learning management system is a platform used for lesson delivery, student collaboration, communication, assignment submission, assessment, and more. In a few words, it's a virtual classroom or a central hub for learning. WJCC's learning management system is Canvas. And this is actually not new to our school division. We've been using Canvas for our online learning since the 2015-16 school year. We've used it for our virtual learning program, for our summer school acceleration courses, for our blended learning, economics and personal finance courses, and last year, even in 6th grade for our middle school career investigations. So while the platform is being expanded to all of our middle and high school courses, we have had users within the division for a few years now. All middle and high school students will have Canvas accounts. They are being created now as schedules are finalizing at each of the schools, and for the Virtual Learning Academy, accounts are being synced between our student information system and the Canvas system. So courses will be accessible to students and to you as parent observers on the first day of school. Your observer account is different from your student's account only in that it's view only access. So we'll take a look inside a parent account here in just a second, and you'll see that they're almost identical to what your student will experience when they're learning in their electronic classroom. So first, we'll look at how you get a pairing code from your student's account. This is where you'll get a 6-digit random code that you'll enter when you create your account so that you're matched with your specific student. As many pairing codes can be generated as needed. So You could have access for parents, step-parents, grandparents, guardians, anyone who's going to be helping that student with their learning experiences during the school year. All of the codes will be active at the same time, and they can be used within a week of being created. So let's take a look now at getting that code and creating your account. I'm going to pull up a window in Canvas. And this is the dashboard that a student would see. So this is just a demo sample student that I've created. And this is the dashboard page that they will land on when they start their lessons. And it's also what your dashboard will look like. We'll walk you through all of these different places here in just a second. But what I want to get here is the observer's pairing code. So to do that, you'll click on the Account tab in the global navigation on the left-hand side of the screen and click on Settings. From here, there's a menu of buttons on the right-hand side. Click on the Pair with Observer button. Here you can see we have 6 random digits, letters, and numbers to pair with this specific student. I'm going to copy and paste this code, but you could write it down on a piece of paper, do something so that you have this random code, and then click OK. It's as easy as that. That's all you need to be able to link your parent account to this particular student's account. So now I'm going to go ahead and log out so that we can get to creating the parent account. This is our Canvas login page. And here in the upper corner, you can see that it says Parent of a Canvas user. Click here for an account. So that's where we're going to click. A pop-up window will appear where you'll enter your name and your email address. Make sure that you enter an email address here that you use. This is the email that notifications will go to regarding your students' courses. It's where you'll receive messages from the teacher if they happen to send a message that includes the observers on the account. So make sure that this is an email address that you have access to. Next, you'll enter a password, something that you will remember, and then re-enter it to make sure that it is what you expect it to be. And then last, we're going to add that student parent code that we just copy and pasted. You do need to click to agree to the terms of use and the privacy policies of the Canvas website. So both of those are linked here for you to review before you agree. And now you click Start Participating and use an email that's not already in use. So one moment. Now you can click Start Participating, and you'll see that now this parent dashboard looks identical to the student dashboard that we just saw. You can see that we are observing that student, and we have the same 2 courses, Algebra 1 and Biology, on our dashboard. So now let's take a tour of this account. We'll start with the global navigation. That's the blue bar on the left-hand side of the screen. From here, we can go to our account settings. We can view our dashboard. We can view any of the courses that our students are enrolled in. In this case, it would be the same 2 tiles that we have here, but as years progress and we continue to use this platform, prior enrollments will also appear in that Courses tab. You can see the calendar, which will include due dates and other important dates that the teachers will add to the calendar for your students. You have an inbox tab where you have the internal messaging within Canvas, and you have a help tab, which includes resources produced by Canvas for your help in navigating through the program. I'm going to go into the account tab and look at some of the settings. First, I'm going to look at the notifications. You can set up default notifications so that when certain things happen in your students' accounts, you get an email sent to that email address that you entered to begin the account. So here you can see that if you choose the check mark, you'll receive an email right away as soon as something is published or graded or posted within the virtual classroom. The clock icon will send you a daily summary. So every day in early evening hours, usually, you'll receive an email about anything that occurred within your students' classes during that day. The calendar icon is for a weekly summary. So you'll receive an email on Saturday evenings with information from the entire week. And then last, you can choose not to send anything. So if you don't want an email sent to you about the particular course activities, you could choose the X. So the green box in all of these categories indicates the default setting. So here you can see that you would get a notification about due dates on a weekly basis. If you wanted to change that to a daily email, you would click on the clock and it would change that preference. So you can go through this list, which includes grading information, announcements, discussions, or email conversations within that internal messaging system, scheduling for calendar appointments, and more. So that's an important page, I think, for the parent and observer accounts so that you get the information that you need and you're notified of when there are changes happening within your students' classes. The other area that I'd like to highlight here is the observing tab. You may be thinking, well, I have 2 students who will be working in Canvas. Do I need separate accounts for each of my students, or can they be joined in one? And the answer is they can be joined in one. So I've already created a student code for another student that I'll add here. And all of these codes you can see are unique, so they won't be repeated with any other students. So once you enter that 6-digit code, you can click on plus student. You can see here I've got the green check mark that says I've successfully added that other student. And you can see in my list that I now have 2 students that I'm observing. I'd like to go back to the dashboard and see how that's changed what my dashboard looks like. So to do that, I'll go back to that global navigation on the left-hand side, the blue bar, and click there. And now you can see that I have 3 tiles on my dashboard. I've added the English 7 tile for Kelly instead of John. So you can see here on the tile, it says which student is enrolled in which course. If you have multiple students, you may end up with quite a busy dashboard because each course will have their own tile. In the Courses tab here on the left, you can organize that by clicking on All Courses and clicking on the stars next to the courses that you want to see. So perhaps you want to hide the algebra class or the biology class. Any star that's not orange will not appear on the dashboard any longer. So when I go back to my dashboard, I'll be back to 2 courses and I won't see that algebra course. So you can customize your dashboard to your preferences. Other things on the dashboard that are important are the calendar and coming up feature. So here on the right-hand side of the screen, you'll see what's coming up for the classes. If there are any due dates or anything scheduled on the calendar, they're listed right there in this coming up section. You can also view your child's grades from here. And we'll take a look at that in just a second. First, I'd like to look at navigating a typical course. So to enter a course, you click anywhere on the tile. So here we'll go into the biology class, and you'll arrive at the home page for the class. This is a standard home page for every teacher, every high school teacher within the division. We wanted these home pages to be easy to navigate and to understand for all participants. So you can see we've got the title of the course at the top, a personal picture from the teacher. Some teachers will add something with their own picture or their Bitmoji. It's a popular theme right now. You may also see something that just relates to the course. So for biology, maybe there would be a picture of a forest or of a cell or something that they would study within the course. It's really up to the teacher to share part of their personality and decorate their homepage just like they might decorate their classroom. And then if you scroll down, there's a few buttons that are standard in every course. You'll see the About Your Teacher button. And when you click there, you'll be brought to a bio page about your teacher. This is kind of equivalent to what the teacher might do on the first day of class when he or she introduces themselves to their class. They could see what they look like, maybe share a little bit of information about their family and how long they've been teaching, where they went to college, little bits of information that are important to them to share with their students. And they also will have some contact information available for students and parents involved in the course. To navigate back to the home page, in the upper left-hand corner, you'll click on the Home button. The Class Resources button is next. And this is a hub for general class resources. So you may see a pacing guide and or syllabus for the course so that you know the expectations that the teacher has for your students. You may also see some links for frequently requested resources. If a student needs extra tutorials or resources, videos pertaining to the information, maybe SOL practice items, things of that nature will be linked here with any other important information that the teacher wants to share with the class for easy access every time that they log into their course. Again, I'm going to click on the Home button in the left-hand menu to return to our dashboard. And now we're really going to get into where the learning happens, which is the Learning Modules button. When we click here, we'll be brought to the actual course page where we'll have a list of the different activities that the teacher wants their students to participate in. These are presented in order and usually intended to be gone through in order through the module. So in this case, we'll look at some of the icons here because it will tell you what type of page you're looking at. The piece of paper icon tells you that it's an informational page. It's a page that has text, videos, pictures, maybe some interactive practice for the student to engage in the lesson portion of a lesson. You may have an introduction to the topic, a warm-up, something to get the child or your student thinking about the lesson for the day and what they're going to interact with, a content page that they then actually do the learning. This is where most of The lesson materials will be that the student can go through independently or maybe with the teacher during a live session. And next is an application or assignment page. You'll see the paper with a pencil icon that tells you that that page is something that the child must interact with. They must do something with that page or turn in an assignment or application on that page. We'll scroll down a little bit to find this spaceship icon. That indicates that it's a quiz of some sort. So it may be a pretest that doesn't count in the grade book. It may be an end of module quiz where their teacher is gathering information about how the students have learned that material for that unit. So that spaceship icon or rocket ship icon indicates that this is a quiz. Some of the modules may have little talk bubbles, and that indicates a discussion page. So let's go back up and take a look at some of these pages. I'm going to choose the first content page. And you can see here that there are images, there are links, there are videos that you can click on and play to interact with this lesson, to independently move through the material and become familiar with the information for this topic. Once you've gone through all of those items that your teacher has included, at the bottom you'll see that there are previous and next buttons. Those are what you'll use to go to either the previous or the next page. So when I click on next here, we have an assignment page. And I wanted to make sure to take a look at this page with you so that you can see all of the different information that you can get from it. So first, you see the due date. We know exactly when this assignment is due and how many points it's worth. You can also see what is supposed to be submitted. So for this particular assignment, a student could choose a text box entry, so something they just type within Canvas itself, a website URL, or a file upload. Below that lists the assignment. It gives information about what's required for the assignment and what the student is supposed to complete and do. You may notice that there's no submit button here. That's where your view only status of your parent or observer account comes into play. If this were your student's account, they would see a submission button right here in the upper right-hand corner. But because you're the parent and not the student who's actually participating in the course, you don't have that button. Otherwise, this page looks identical to what your student will see. So as they're working through, and if you're assisting them, you'll know that on their page, there's a button here that they can click to submit their assignment. And then once they're done, they'll again continue to click next for the next page within that unit. And in this case, it's a summary of everything that they just did. One thing that I do want to point out, and I won't get too far into, but on any of the content pages, we do have this immersive reader button up at the top, and that's a tool that can help read aloud the text on the page for students who do better with auditory input, who do better with listening to their lessons. It's for students who may have a disability and really work better with something read to them as compared to something that they just read. It also has the ability to translate. So for students who may understand a language other than English better for their lessons, they're able to translate specific words or the entire document. So teachers and technology integration coaches will help students with that function, but that is there for both parent and observers and for the students. Now I'm going to go back to the home page, again, clicking on the Home tab in the left-hand course navigation menu. And we're going to take a look at the grades which have left here. So I'm going to go about it a different way. So we had a button a second ago that had that there, but now this looks a little bit different. So I'm going to go to the modules. Actually, I'm going to go to the dashboard and come back in. I think that'll be the easiest place. I'm going to click back on the tile. And it's not there, of course. Okay, within the module, if we looked at the assignment and we had grades from a teacher, we would see that feedback here on the right-hand side. So you would see a grade and you would see any written comments that your teacher had left for, or your student's teacher had left for them. Because there's nothing here, we don't have that to show. So because this is a demo course, that's changed a little bit. But in your child's course, you would see that there if there were something from your teacher that was graded. We'll click here on the View Calendar button to take a look at your course calendar. This August calendar is blank because courses, of course, don't start until September. So to navigate to the next month, we'll click on the arrow at the top to bring us to September. And here we can see that there's an assignment due on the 10th. When you click on that item in the calendar, it'll open up a pop-up window that shows you the information about that particular assignment. So this is another place that you can look at to get a feel for what your student needs to do for this particular assignment that's due on the 10th. When we add the other courses here in the menu on the right-hand side, you click the box next to the course that you want to see, and any items for those courses would appear on the calendar in a different color. So in this case, the English 7 assignments would be in purple, and the Algebra 1 assignments would be in blue, along with the biology, which is here in red. So your calendar can get busy, especially when you have more than one student, but it is a great place to have a quick glance at what your students are responsible for over the course of a week or a month. You can also very easily see what's upcoming to maybe help plan some time management with your students. To return back to the dashboard, we'll use that blue global navigation menu on the left-hand side and click back on dashboard. And look, now we do have our view grades button. So I was mistaken. I thought it was there on the course page, but it's actually here on the dashboard. So forgive me for that mistake, please. But I'm going to take you to the view grades here so that we can see a general list of the courses with their grade for the work that they've submitted in Canvas. And it's important to realize that the grades in Canvas are not the official grades for the course. Teachers may assign work outside of Canvas that students are submitting, or especially when we're back in the classroom, hopefully sooner rather than later in some capacity, they'll have some in-class assignments mixed in with these digital assignments that will be added in View. So View, Parent View and Student View is still the official gradebook for the division, and that's where you'll see the official grade. But here you can see the grades for each course for the work submitted and graded in Canvas. And you can also click on the course itself to get specific information about the assignments for that course. So you'll see here that first assignment that we looked at, due September 10th, is worth 100 points. We don't have a score yet for it, but these talk bubbles here indicate that there is a comment on the assignment. When you click those talk bubbles, it opens up the comments from the teacher and the date and time that those comments were sent. So you'll see this, and each student will see that when they look at their summary for their specific courses. You can print grades if you wanted to print this grade sheet. You can also change how these assignments appear for you if you wanted to change and look at groups. So all of the assignments in one list within all the quizzes in another, or something like that. You could also look at it by module. So if there were certain assignments from different modules, you would be able to see the progress within each particular module that the student has completed. From this menu, you can also choose any of the other courses for this particular student. So we're still looking at John here. So we have his biology and his algebra 1. So I could, with just a click, change to the algebra 1 class, click apply, and now I can see the assignments for his algebra class. So really very easy navigation to check on the progress in that way for your students' courses. And again, we'll just go back to the dashboard, and that is the highlight tour, I think, of the Canvas tool, the basic navigation. And that's really where we want to start with both our parents and our students. Start with the basic navigation and then grow in your experience from there. Remember that your courses, your child's courses, will be published on the first day of school. So they'll be able to log into Canvas, get that access code, and then have these tiles for all of their courses that they're enrolled in on the first day of school. If you have problems seeing your child's courses, or if your student has problems seeing their courses on or after that day, absolutely contact tech support, and we'll be happy to troubleshoot and figure out what's going on with what you're seeing. So thank you very much for joining us today, and hopefully feeling a little bit more at ease with one of the tools that your middle or high school student will use for their virtual classroom this year. And I think with that, we'll turn it back over to Dr. Hyland.
Thank you, Ms. Barr. I just want to mimic that and thank everyone for joining us this evening. I think this was some very valuable information, and I'm glad that we had an opportunity to offer families an opportunity, a chance to become familiar with the platform that we'll be using this fall. We want to also invite you to join us for next month's Parent Academy, where we will have tools for success in the digital classroom. At this academy, you'll be able to explore some of the learning platforms that secondary students will use. Office 365, we'll look again at Canvas and see how some of these things integrate together and work together. And then you'll also learn tips and tricks to support your child's remote learning experience. So that academy is going to be held on September the 30th, and at the same time, 6:00 p.m. and same platform via Zoom. So we hope you'll be able to join us. We're going to say goodnight at this point and hope you have a wonderful evening.